In A Tale of Two Cities, Book 2, Chapters 1 through 7, the story jumps ahead 5 years to 1780. Tellson's bank in London remains old and cramped, unchanged over the years. In his apartment, Jerry Cronjers argues with his wife, accusing her prayers of interfering with his honest work. Jerry and his son go to the bank to wait for odd jobs. When a porter is needed, Jerry leaves his son outside and heads inside. His son wonders why his father's boots are muddy and his fingers are rusty. Jerry is sent to deliver a note to Mr. Lorry at the Old Bailey, London's courtroom for serious criminal cases. Charles Darnay is on trial for treason. The crowd watches in anticipation, and someone guesses that he will be executed. Darnay is defended by Mr. Shriver and Sidney Carton, who seems bored. Darnay looks at Lucy and Dr. Manette, and the crowd thinks that they are witnesses. Lucy's face radiates compassion that amazes the crowd. The Attorney General lists Darnay's charges and demands a death sentence. A sound of great blue flies are buzzing in the room. Witnesses John Barsad and Roger Cly testify against Darnay, but Shriver discredits them as untrustworthy witnesses and spies himself. Mr. Lorry, Lucy, and Dr. Manette are then called to testify. They said that they met Darnay on a ship 5 years ago when they were on their way back from Paris. Lucy says that Darnay helped her father. Lucy accidentally reveals that Darnay traveled with other Frenchmen and had lists. She also said that he said that George Washington's place in history might match that of King George III. The court insists that she calls him prisoner, not gentleman. Dr. Manette's memory fails him when he was questioned. As Shriver cross-examines a witness, Carton hands him a note. Shriver uses the note to highlight how much Darnay and Carton resemble each other, casting doubt on the witness that he saw Darnay waiting for someone in a hotel. Shriver then ends the case with witnesses and a summary that Barsad is a spy and Cly is his accomplice. He then argues that Darnay is innocent, claiming his travel between England and France was for family matters. The jury says that Darnay is innocent, and the blue flies leave. After the trial, Darnay kisses Lucy's hand and thanks Shriver for his help. Everyone congratulates him. Dr. Manette is now a distinguished citizen of London. He can still become lonely, but Lucy acts as a golden thread that connects his life before and after imprisonment. Shriver, Dr. Manette, and Lucy depart. Curtin appears from the shadows and he seems drunk. He was rude to Mr. Lorry, who left soon after. Curtin and Darnay go to a tavern, and he asks Darnay if being tried for his life was worth the sympathy and compassion that he got from Lucy. Darnay comments on Carton's drinking habits, but Carton says that he is a disappointed drudge who has wasted his potential. Darnay leaves, and Carton curses himself and Darnay in the mirror, reminding him of what he could have been. Because Shriver is unable to distill information, he partners with Carton, who does all his work for him to win cases. Shriver is a lion in court, and Carton is a jackal behind the scenes. Carton leaves the tavern that he dined with Darnay in, and he enters Shriver's apartment. To stay awake, he kept a wet towel wrapped around his head as he worked. Shriver and Carton have a drink, and Shriver comments on how moody Carton has been ever since university. Carton says that he is not as ambitious as Shriver is. Shriver then talks about Lucy's beauty, but Carton mocks her, calling her a golden-haired doll, but his true feelings are different. Carton leaves and stumbles home. He has a vision of a city full of hope and love, but when that vision passes, he cries in his pillow. 4 months later, Mr. Lorry visits the Manettes. Their house is really beautiful, but Dr. Manette's shoemaking bench is still there. The Manettes leave, and Miss Pross complains to Mr. Lorry that the only suitor good enough for Lucy is her brother Solomon. Mr. Lorry doesn't say that Solomon is a cheat and a scoundrel, though. He also asks Miss Pross if Dr. Manette ever uses his workbench, but Miss Pross says that Dr. Manette doesn't really think about his years of imprisonment. Lucy and Dr. Manette come back, and then Darnay comes shortly after. He tells them of his recent trip to the Tower of London, where a prisoner wrote the word dig on the wall. Years later, when workmen found the old cell, they decided to dig beneath the inscription, and then there they found ashes of paper inside a leather case. Dr. Manette is startled and nearly faints. Later, Carton visits. Carton and Lucy sit outside as the storm approaches. Lucy says that she imagines the echoes of people's footsteps as people who are coming into their lives. Carton says that must be a crowd to make such a sound, and he says that he welcomes a crowd into his life. In Paris, Monsieur drinks hot chocolate with 4 servants around. He is a powerful French lord who is surrounded by luxury and state officials who know nothing of state affairs but everything about dressing well. Then, Marquis Saint Evremont leaves in a huff after not being treated warmly. He takes out his anger by rushing through the streets of Paris in his carriage, scattering commoners along the way. He accidentally runs over and kills a little boy. Gaspard, the boy's father, approaches his carriage, but the Marquis just tosses him a coin. Darnay comes and tosses the coin back. The Marquis is furious, and he drives away, yelling that he is going to kill the commoners from the earth. Madame Defarge looks on and still knitting.